You're listening to STMK Radio 100.
At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Check out Reverend Bill Miller's Bible Study radio broadcast live on the new STMK Radio 100 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please listen in and support him as he joins the realm of broadcasting to encourage believers and offer the comfort of God to others across the airwaves. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Also, feel free to contact him for prayer, counseling, and conversation at brobill9608 at yahoo.com. That's BROBILL 9608 at yahoo.com. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100.
Tell you something, we gotta stop the violence, we gotta vote. Stop the violence and vote.
Soulful.
STMK Radio 100. You're listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 with your hosts, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100.
Yes, this is a PSA, a public street announcement. You are now listening to a kickback production. Light up your L's, lean back, and listen.
What's the city of your emergency?
I'm on 125th with a period. I don't know what just happened, but we need medical assistance over here. It's crazy. Everything. Can you please hurry up over here? My grandma is still. Can you all please hurry up over here, please?
You need an ambulance. Stay on the line.
Yep. Yes,
You're in Cleveland, East Cleveland. Hello?
East Cleveland.
Okay, hold for East Cleveland and let them know you need an ambulance.
Okay. Oh my God, bro. What's up? Can we get some help over there on Carrier too?
911, do you need police, fire, or an ambulance?
I need an ambulance on 125th. We need an ambulance over here now. It's the police and fire truck over here. We need an ambulance over here. I'm Corey. Man, hell no.
Okay, what's going on there, sir?
I don't know. A house blew up or something.
Okay, what are the injuries?
My head cut open, my grandma messed up. Can you just please hurry up over here, please?
Okay.
What's the city of the emergency?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, stand on the line. You're being transferred.
Okay. Hey, give me my wife. My other. I'm gonna go over here.
You have reached Cleveland 911. Please do not hang up. All operators are currently handling other emergency calls. Stay on the line for the next available operator. Please do not hang up. Has llegado a la línea de 911 de la ciudad de Cleveland. Todas las operadoras están en otras llamadas de emergencia. Permanezca en la línea para la siguiente operadora. Por favor, no cuelgue. You have reached Cleveland 911. Please do not hang up. All operators are currently handling other emergency calls. Stand. Cleveland 911, what's your emergency? Please call an ambulance.
Oh, well, it seemed like it came from the sky.
911, what's the city of your emergency?
Euclid, East Cleveland, Ohio. Something happened on North Lockwood. The whole sky, everything shook. Everybody came out their house. It's like, man, I don't know, like a sonic sound or something.
Okay. Hold the line.
It's time, yeah, something had to happen.
Stay on the line, I'll retransfer you.
All right.
Okay, it's been recorded, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah.
911, what's the city of your emergency?
I don't know. It was like there was some
Are
kind
you
of...
talking about the explosion?
Yes.
Yes, it has been recorded.
Okay, it broke out our window.
It has?
Yes.
Okay, I'll transfer you over, okay?
Okay.
And you're in East Cleveland?
Yes.
Hold the line, don't hang up.
How he do that? Sounds like a virus.
911, do you need police, fire, or an ambulance?
I don't know. Well, we just, me and my whole street is outside because it's like this big old explosion. It just broke out our window.
Okay,
It's a
yes,
car right here.
we have officers and EMS en route. Hello? Okay, we have officers there. Hello?
Good evening and welcome to Stop the Madness. Keep it 100 on a free fall Thursday. Sax Man is in Studio 51 with us, and everybody, I want you to know across the country, our thoughts are with the people of the city of East Cleveland. Everybody has to understand East Cleveland had a terrible accident, and right now people need help and people are hurting. And the city that size that is already in financial trouble really need our help. But before we go into talking about East Cleveland, on the phone with us tonight, we have Walter Melton Sr., the founder of the Voice of Our People, S.O.S Save Our Sons, out of East Cleveland, boots on the ground. And Walter, welcome with us tonight on Stop the Madness. Hello?
Is he there?
Walter, you there?
Uh-oh.
Hello?
I hear something.
Let's see what happened. Well, you know what, Sax Man? We got to get Walter on the
We
line.
got to get him on the line.
There you go. Walter, are you with us now? Can you hear us?
But
you know the IT guy.
IT guy again. Boy, I tell you, here we go. Hello, everybody out there.
Yeah, go ahead, Sax Man.
How's
Hello,
everybody out there in the music and in the TV world and the social media world? Haven't seen you all week. I kind of miss you. How's everybody?
And you know what? That is really, really the thing when we talk about. Okay, there we go right there. Our guy is telling us that we have Walter back. Let's go right here. Again, we have Walter Melton Sr., the founder of Voice of Our People, S.O.S Save Our Sons, who got boots on the ground in the city of East Cleveland. Walter, welcome with us. We had a little problem. We got you back. How you doing today?
Okay. Please stay with us bear with us. We just having an IT guy. He's been kind of under the weather lately, and
yes, sir.
it's
It's the thing right there.
kind of under the weather, so you got to excuse him.
We got to see what's going on with that. And we'll try to get Walter back
We're gonna
right
try to
there.
get him right back.
But Sax man, those two explosions was really, really, really hard right there.
It rocked the entire street. From what I understood, it blew the one house up, but it caused damage to the houses nearby. Even on the other streets over. I think it caused fires. Didn't we have fires yesterday?
Yes, we did.
But now the explosion happened days ago, but it continued on with the fires.
Well, no, the fires was something totally different. Let's go back to the phone lines again. Walter, can you hear us now? Okay, we gonna have to work with that.
Maybe he's on one of those phones that Star Trek got that you got to flick it over and say hello.
Or let me see what's happening right there.
No, not that.
Okay, I see. Where we going to? What we gonna have to do? Yeah. The fires wasn't even connected with that.
The fire wasn't connected.
No.
Some people said it was, and they was complaining about it. I seen because on social media, you say every and anything on social media, even with very little evidence or with no evidence at all, and people want to just run with it. They
Correct.
believe it. Oh, it's on social media, so it got to be correct. It's just ridiculous.
And then when you look at that, Sax man, I have a problem with everybody right now. And there's a lot of things that's happening in the city of East Cleveland, where most of what's going on is self-created. Okay,
exactly.
So when you go self-created, and you have citizens in the community that see people doing things that they should.
How many times have I said that, Sean? How many times?
There you go. We got him back right there on the thing. We got it fired back up.
All right.
So let's see if we can get Walter back on. But you did say that before.
I say how many times have I say that our civilians, our citizens, our neighborhood people needs to take responsibility themselves. Not always looking for other people to be responsible.
And
but you need to be responsible and step up. If you see something going on, open up your mouth. Stop. Don't wait for the police to beat on somebody before it become news. That's all I'm saying. It's a lot of things that goes on in the neighborhood, in the hood, that you can broadcast. Don't always wait for the police to do something.
That's correct.
That's all I'm saying. You see that stuff going on right there. Somebody could have said something about that and stopped it before it happened. The people knew they was going in those houses and stealing stuff out. People knew that.
Now, our IT guy telling us, Walter, you with us now?
Hello?
Hey, Walter, welcome with us tonight. We finally got you in there. The phone lines was messing up, and it was hard to get you back. Ladies and gentlemen, on the phone with us, as I said earlier, we have the founder of Voice of Our People, SOS Save Our Sons, Walter Melton Sr., boots on the ground in the city of East Cleveland, who has really been taking care of this situation of the emergency in East Cleveland. Walter, welcome, and thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank y'all for having me on the show.
All right.
Walter, we was just talking about earlier when we was trying to get you back and forth on the phone. I'm sorry for the miscommunication.
Blame it on the IT guy.
And everything. Yeah, blame it on the IT guy. Okay. So, but can you tell our audience, Walter, first we want to know, since you are help out there helping them, people, the victims with your organization, can you tell our audience what can they do for you and the victims, what your need?
Okay. If everybody wants to, they can donate water. They can get with Shaw and donate. They ain't got to donate the money. They can buy gift cards. The people that we trying to find them a house where they can be at. Right now, we got them inside apartment buildings. Inside of hotels. They're gonna need furniture. Everything they had is destroyed. So they need clothes. They gonna need vouchers to be able to get furniture, appliances. Somebody went inside their house the other day and stole all their TVs and stuff out the house.
Oh, no, they started looting over there now.
They looting already.
We're going to talk about that because there's a couple of activists that started rumors and started theories. But we're going to go into that later. But, Walter, right
Sean,
now.
You call them activists, I'll call them.
Well,
I got another name for them.
Walter.
I call them ambulance chasers.
Right. Walter, tell us right now a little bit about your organization so everybody can know who you're affiliated with.
Okay, voice for my people. We reach out to the people. We the voice for the people. We try to organize the people. When people ask me, "Am I an activist?" I say, "No, I'm an organizer. I organize the people to do better, to learn better, that be able to help themselves and help other people."
Exactly.
And we try to bridge the gap between the youth and the elderly to show that communication and trust can be restored between the two.
Right.
Then with the SOS Save My Sons, we out here trying to get the young brothers to realize to put these guns down. It's a better way, you know, and we trying to get them jobs. We trying to get them to stay, get them back in school. We understand a lot of people ain't meant for college, so we trying to get them in other places where they can go. You know, we trying to get them with jobs, construction jobs. We trying to get them in trade schools so they can get a trade, so they can learn how to work with their hands instead of trying to hold them guns. It's like a friend of mine told me, put the hammers down and pick up the real hammers and do some work.
Exactly. I truly agree with you. It'll help more, and the message will regulate better if the parents get involved. If the parents not involved, they're not listening to the next door neighbors anymore. So that's the problem.
Well, that's why we got this brother on the show right here, Sax Man, because this brother right here is taking the place of the parents and organizations. He's walking the street. He's hitting the concrete on himself. We got shirts that we brought.
I didn't get one.
Okay, well, we got them. We with this brother. Right. He's out there pounding the street. He's not waiting for nobody to do it. He's talking to the kids himself, right. And he's bringing the kids in. And tell them about the programs you run into bring East Cleveland back, of picking up the litter and cleaning up the lots and bringing the city back to respectability.
All right, I sat down and I got with the chief of staff and the mayor and them, and we came up with a way, like, we're going to start doing community cleanups. Now, we've been doing this for 10 years. The mayor, when he was a council person, he used to come out with us. So he came up with the idea, let's get everybody involved, Walt. He said they're going to, he said, you've been doing it, we're going to get everybody involved. So he's been reaching out to a lot of people. I've been reaching out to people. I even got the East Cleveland Zulus involved. I got a lot of other, we got a lot of other organizations involved. You got Ernest Smith, he the councilman for East Cleveland. He got the OPN, and he got his people them out there. We all trying to work together. We like I told everybody, if we pull together and we stand tall together, we can make this city change. We got to do the positive change. A lot of people don't want to see change. A lot of people want things to stay the way it is.
Exactly.
We got to do wrong.
Exactly.
So, Walter, let me ask you this question. You was boots on the ground Sunday. We went out there also with our reporters, and we've been out there also. What is going on where people won't get involved when they see things happening? Is it because they don't trust their police department, or they just don't want to have the police involved?
Tell the truth.
A lot of people don't want to be involved with the police. A lot of these young people. I've been trying to get them to become police. They ain't got felonies. People be like, well, man, being a police is a switch. I don't want to be involved. I said, no, being with the police, you're helping your people. A lot of people don't want to get the police involved, but like I tell them, you don't need the police in order to protect your neighborhood. You got to, everybody got to start looking out for each other. It's like put a block watch together, but y'all got to start looking out. But people somewhere down the line, it was lost. It got lost when they took the prayers out of school. It was lost when the discipline with the kids got stopped.
They took them out of school. They took them out of homes. They took everything out that was keeping everything found and rooted. Everything is gone now. Prayer, everything. The neighborhood watch that you mentioned, we had one in our neighborhood, and we all took turns walking the neighborhood. And just before I became a cop, we walked the neighborhoods and looked out for everybody. We didn't have these issues we got today because people stood together, and we wasn't always looking and whine and blame others. We took responsibility for what we did wrong. That's what's lost now. No one wants to do that.
But you know what we got to do too, though? We got to get with the police now, and we got to get them to get out them cars and start walking around and get to know the people too, though.
I missed them days. That's what we did back in the day, yes.
Right, I remember that. But now these police, they'll pull up on the street. They'll pull up on the street. They won't get out. Get out and know the neighbors. Get to know the neighbors. Get to know the people in the neighborhoods. Let them get some kind of communication going. So when something do happen, they won't be scared to call you.
That's true. It's all about community knowing the police and police knowing the community, and everyone can be safe and feel comfortable addressing each other. Because if a cop pulled up, get out, and he want to talk to this young man about something simple, this young man automatically, his butt tighten up and he's ready to run because he see the police coming. It wasn't like that back in the day. I'm telling you, used to be I was a one-man car. I used to get out the car all the time and talk to the neighbors, talk to the store owners. I knew all of them. I knew every last one of everybody, and everyone's kid. They never ran from me. You know, I never treated nobody wrong. They never treated me wrong. It's since this social media. I still blame social media for the way the downfall of this country is going. I still blame social media.
No.
Yes, I blame social media, buddy. Because before social media, we didn't have all this crap.
But let me say,
we didn't know about it. Are you for real?
No, not for real. I blame
Come on, so police ain't been killing people?
It ain't got nothing to do with police. It's,
okay, let's say
it's beyond that. It's beyond that.
I'm like, people have not been killing people. People have not been kidding about their neighborhood.
But it's beyond that.
But y'all hold that for a minute, because we only got Walter for a little while.
Okay,
so,
go ahead.
So let our call.
I touch both bases with you.
So Walter, let me say this right here. With your organization, after the explosion and everything, a lot of people came in. Red Cross, Salvation Army. A lot of people stepped up. You got a lot of things going, and you made out a call, and a lot of people came to help you out because you was having some problems. So did they get that worked out now? And is everything running smooth, or what's going on with those organizations?
Okay, what it is like, you know, if you give a donation for people to the Red Cross, they're not going to let it get it to them. They're going to give them what they supposed to give, and they're going to keep the rest to add to their inventory. So my thing is, I've been telling everybody, no offense against the Red Cross, but if you got something you want to get these families, you can call me, or you can get with Greg Bell at the Salvation Army. One thing about it, Greg Bell going to call me when stuff gets coming in. He going to call me. We're going to go over there and do inventory. I'm going to call the people, and I'm going to have the people going to come pick it up. Like I did yesterday when, Sean, you made the call to Kim Snyder and Todd. You made the call to them. They pulled up with trunks full of stuff. And when they pulled up, they called me. I was right there. I called the people. The people pulled up, you know, the stuff in their cars, and they went on their way. Unfortunately, we got to try to find them. We got to get the housing for them, because apartments is just a short term. We got to think about the long term.
Right.
And they done lost everything because the looters went over there and broke in an apartment and took everything. And so we got to, you know, it's a family that, you know, I really support. They the Beckingham family and the Burt Haulers. It's two families, and they both sisters, and they got between the both of them, they got 3 sons. And their sons are going through something because of that explosion. It really, you know, they need, like I tell everybody, they need counseling. Everybody talking about, well, we need to do this and do that. Where the counseling is for all these people? 65 people down over there was tragic. Even though it shut the whole city up with this explosion happening, but we got 65 people that live through this that need counseling. You got kids, people that need counseling. Where the counselors at? I mean, if we had been in any other city, they'd have been everywhere.
You know how many injuries or anybody lost their life in this situation?
Yes, one guy is in the hospital fighting for his life. A young lady, she died inside the house. They were supposed to be going in there, still in the plumbing. I mean, in a hot water tank, and explosion happened. They lost their lives. A sad thing.
So,
but
yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So it's a sad thing that when it comes to that, it's a sad thing what happened. But my thing, I feel like the owner that owned that house live out of town. So if you ain't had nobody in the house living in the house, why was the gas still on?
Well, we're going to talk about that later on with our all-star panel, Tony Stone, J Mac, and then we're going to talk about that because there are certain things that need to happen, just like I was saying earlier, that we're going to get with about the activists starting
rumors,
the rumors and the conspiracy theories and everything else.
Ah.
There's certain there's certain
you
things.
know they're a trip, man.
But there's certain things that we do know. Okay, and we do know that this was a natural gas explosion, just like it was over on Penrose, and we know.
Right, you can't smell if you ain't got nothing else in the house, and the house is empty, you can't smell that gas. So whatever they had did before, I believe they had cut something before and they didn't smell it, and they was taking that hot water tank.
It just
and
built
somebody
up.
Probably wanted to.
Yeah. It just builds up. You know how so many feet or square feet of room has to fill up with fumes of gasoline before it can explode like that.
Well, no, or natural gas will explode for anything
I
because
mean, but that much explosion destroyed that house into
yeah,
bits.
yeah, because your gas is under. We're going to talk about that because we had
Ooh,
boots on the
it
ground and
was
we was with the
bits.
inspector, so we're going to hit that. So before we let you go, Walter, because you've been with us for a while, and
Oh, don't
we
go.
had to really get you connected. We're sorry about the thing, but we're going to get you in studio when we come back from our 3 weeks vacation. We're going to get you into the private studio, and we want you to come in and sit with us. But our question is this: is that uh, how can somebody get a hold of you or get donations to you, or is it the Salvation Army right there? They can contact because we're telling them.
Or they can call me at 216-965-7086. They call me, we get the ball rolling. Like I'm asking everybody if they can, you know, you ain't got to give money, give gift cards if you can. You know, you can give gift cards. You know, I'm trying to get somebody to set up a GoFundMe account at the bank for them. I'm trying to move everything, but sometimes, you know, you got like them other people, like you said, they're standing right there.
Mm-hmm.
They like a brick wall trying to hold things back because they want to get on the news and they want to, right? So there's a lot of things going on, but you know, I'm like a train. I'm pushing them out my way as we go.
Right. Well, see, you know, you are a real activist. All right, you doing
Not
what a
an
real
activist.
activist
I'm
supposed
an
to
organizer.
do. Okay,
I'm
you
not
a
an
real
activist.
organizer.
I'm an organizer.
You doing what you're supposed to do. These other people, they hinderers. That's what I call them.
And we're gonna talk about some of the theories. But Tone, you know, this tragedy is back to back on East Cleveland because 2 days ago. Well, no, I take that back. Yesterday, they had the fire, which started on the south side of Superior. It wasn't connected with the explosion. Okay, and we're gonna talk about that also. Are those?
Did you hear the theory? Did you hear the theory that
I
some of
heard
them
it. I heard it.
activists trying to say?
What did they say?
I heard it.
What did they say?
That's why I'm over here saying, boy, they make
we're gonna go into that. So, but Walter, let me ask you this question right here: are those victims also coming to the Salvation Army, or did Red Cross take care of them, or are they part of your organization?
The Red Cross been trying to help them, but you got the Cuyahoga County man. He stepped in. Mike Hauser.
Okay.
You got the council in East Cleveland. They stepping in, reaching out to people. Mike Hauser just put them down at the Hilton Hotel downtown.
All right.
So they've been staying there, but then, you know, we're trying to work on permanent residence.
Right.
now.
We're gonna have to go permanent. This is the thing that we're trying to get people and get organizations to understand is that these people lost everything. They're not going to be able to maintain them in hotels. Actually, what we're trying to do is contact FEMA and see if we can get some of those trailers that's up here.
Right.
And maybe have trailers donated to those families.
Good idea.
I called them yesterday. You know what they told me?
What?
If it wasn't a natural cause, we can't help.
Right. That is correct.
Wow.
But what's going to have to happen is due to the fact, and we talked about this because we talked to the state of Ohio, due to the fact that so many people were affected by this,
a lot of them was
the
displaced
governor,
behind
right?
this
The
crap.
governor has to declare that area a disaster area due to circumstances, and then we may be able to apply for FEMA funds. But we're going to talk to you about that. We're going to get you back on the show, and we'd like to thank you for everything you're doing, and our prayers go out to the people of East Cleveland, and we're going to continue to show. And before you leave, Walter, give that number out to our listeners again so they can know where to contact you at, so where they can get some help to the victims, and they can help you keep your program going up strong.
It's 216-965-7086.
Okay, hey, Walter, we appreciate you and everybody. That was Walter Melton Sr., the founder of Voice of Our People, S.O.S. Save Our Sons, with boots on the ground in East Cleveland. We've been working with him to get some relief for people. STMK Radio 100. We'll be there with Walter and to help Walter out. And thank you very much, Walter. Now, right here, I want to go to this section, man, because this is where everything started at, and before we went to Walter. You know, this explosion took place Sunday at 12:45. One person was killed. One person is seriously injured in the hospital. Female was placed under arrest after they wasn't found her. Okay. And to come to find out from interviews, and we went boots on the ground with our press license, and we was over there with the first responders.
Right.
Come to find out is that some of the interviews is very disturbing, okay? Because people who live right next door to this house says that they have seen people coming in and out multiple times.
Ain't said a word.
Haven't said anything. This is disturbing, okay? And I want to say this to the people of East Cleveland and the residents. If you don't get involved, okay, this is what happens, okay? Those individuals are in a house committing a crime, a burglary, okay? Now, I understand the conspiracy theory, so let's start right there because Jay asked the question. Everybody's trying to blame these explosions on the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District digging the sewer line. I mean the drain lines to keep them away from the wastewater and rainwater away from the sewer water, so it don't flush into the lake. Okay, I want to say this because I talked to Northeast Ohio Sewer District and sit down with them yesterday for a good maybe hour and a half. Okay. First of all, Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District has been digging these sewer lines, if you want to call them, it's called a rainwater tunnel. It's not actually raw sewage. It's to stop when it rains, to stop their lower end areas from flooding like East Cleveland, Euclid Avenue and everything, and channel the water out from coming into the sewer lines and overflooding the sewer lines and flushing raw sewage into our lake and
what does that have
water.
to do with the gas line?
Well, it has a lot, but I want to bring it down for a minute to everybody.
All right.
First of all, why did the lady get arrested? That's
well, hold on. We're going to get to that, Jay. Give a minute so we can work around. give us a minute so we can work around.
That's a question.
He's leading up to that.
Right. I'm trying to work around so I don't get, so we don't get mistracked right there.
He's leading up to
so what happens is Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District started this project 10 years ago, and they started in Shaker Heights, coming down through the heights into the inner city, okay? They're in the final leg right now because they're in the inner city going to the lake, and then over here on 140th where they have the treatment
plant.
What's it called? A containment facility, okay? They haven't had any problems with methane gas.
No, they have a runoff over by Bueller. They have a runoff.
Right, but everything's going to go right over here into the containment center off of in Bratnaw, right off over here 140.
Right.
Okay, that's where the water's going to be contained and then slowly treated and then dumped back into the lake.
Right.
So what happened is they've been doing this for 10 years. Okay, there's a lot of vacant properties in the city of Cleveland, and there's a lot of vacant properties with the utilities still going strong. Okay, we haven't had any gas methane explosions. Okay, now a lot of the activists and everybody goes straight to methane explosion. Okay, the first explosion was 2 weeks ago on Penrose Avenue, Penrose and Lynn. Okay, that was a natural gas explosion. And two things is going to sound similar right here, and this is what Jay Mack is asking the question, so we're going to answer his question right now. On Penrose, there was a lady that was injured in that explosion. And guess what? That was a vacant home. Nobody was supposed to be there. They still had the utilities and the gas on, okay? And what it appears to be is that strippers was in there stealing the furnaces, the gas meter, and the pipes, and caused the natural gas explosion.
Tone, not strippers on the pole strippers. Let's get that straight.
But no, Saxon, I'm going to be serious about this. Serious right here for a minute. Now, to Sunday's tragedy, to answer Jay Mack's question, the lady was arrested for, well, she wasn't arrested. She was a person of interest. So she was a suspect on a burglary, which turned into a murder. Okay, so everybody has to understand this. This is not just stripping pipes and breaking into a house no more.
It went to a whole nother level when somebody died.
Right. When they went into the house, they have been stripping houses from what the investigation has showed. They have been stripping houses in this area for a long time. They've been in this house from the neighbor's statement alone. This is where I'm disturbed at. The neighbor's statement alone said they've been in the house multiple times that week. Okay. The owner of the house is in North Dakota somewhere. They brought the house unseen. Okay. So you can't hold them responsible when the gas is there. Okay. And this is where I'm talking about what the activists should be talking about and the programs that we need to do.
Right.
So they break in the house and they're stealing the appliances. Okay. Somewhere they stole the glass appliances because we do know that this isn't a methane gas explosion. This is a natural gas explosion. We just don't know where it's from. The fire marshal will know. We was on the ground with the fire marshal Monday and Tuesday, going around the houses and going around to the vacant properties, doing air samples because they're looking for methane gas because everybody keep trying to blame Northeast Ohio Sewer District. So they putting people out there, go check this, okay? Now, where the problem is right here with this house, somebody should have called the police, okay? And what it appears to be, and I've seen it many a times, is that they took a gas. You got 2 gas lines coming into the house. One for your stove, one's under
for your hot water tank or
well,
for your
well,
furnace?
that's one line. That's your stove, your dryer, your hot water tank. That's under controlled monitors right there, okay? Because you have to have shut-off valves, and you have to have shut-off areas, but your furnace, by law, has to be on automatic shut-off. So that's the total different pipe, okay? Because when your pilot goes out on your furnace, automatically that furnace must shut down. Okay, so that means if they took the furnace out, they disconnected that pipe and they have free-flowing gas. And this is to your answer, Saxman, what everybody said. That gas is under pressure. So if you get an air hose and you cut the air hose, that's how your gas is coming out, okay? And it fills up the house very, very quickly. And a cell phone can set it off.
Any spark.
A spark of a light plug
They
can
might
set
have
it
been
off.
there and lit a cigarette.
Right, boom, okay. Now, we do know there was 2 people in the house, okay? One lady, even when we was on the scene, okay, was laying dead in the streets.
Right.
Okay. And a gentleman was laying in the debris. Okay. The young lady that was under a person of interest had left. The only reason that she was picked up is because somebody came up with information to say, hey, I know somebody that was with them.
Right.
So East Cleveland got her. Once East Cleveland got her, then the story is told there's 2 males and the 2 people that was in the house, and they went in there stripping the house down. They took a load, 2 or 3 loads to the scrap yard, so that means they must have been ripping all the pipes out of the walls. And probably what happened is, and I'm going to say this again, is that one of them was probably cutting those pipes with one of those electric saws
or lit a cigarette.
Or lit a cigarette. But it only takes 3 minutes to go over to the meter and cut the meter off, okay? If you don't cut the meter off, you got gas flow, okay? And now you have 3 people under arrest right now for aggravated burglary and murder.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Because now, due to the fact that someone died while they was committing a felony in the state of Ohio,
that's a homicide.
They could be charged with homicide.
That's right.
So those 2 individuals, and one of them has an extensive record. Okay. So
say what, John?
I don't think that was stick. The murder won't stick.
No, oh yes, the murder will stick.
Oh my God!
Under the state of Ohio, let me say this right here, Jay.
Because you get charged, I understand that,
but
I don't think it was stick.
Well,
I mean, you get charged with something, that means it was
right.
stick.
I understand that, but let me explain this to you. There's a lot of people in jail. We just had a guy in jail that just got sentenced last week for when his buddy got killed in a robbery. Same thing. There's no difference. When you're in the state of Ohio, when you're committing a felony, and someone lose their lives, and this is a case that's going to be well
This is going to be
followed.
monitored. People going to follow this
Because
for real.
you're talking about over 2 miles of homes that are damaged. You're talking about in that little area from 125th, every window and houses are broken out.
And let me entertain what you just said. You say the murder that might not stick. They're going to get charged with it. And if it goes to trial and
they don't have any defense, so it ain't no way for them to beat that.
And if they won't, the only lesser thing they could do is plea bargain down to involuntary manslaughter.
And you know what
That's
you know what I also
so they might not get murder
and you know what
murder
I also,
one,
right.
but they can get involuntary
But you
manslaughter.
also know what I see.
First of all, they haven't been found guilty for anything.
No,
Right.
but they're going. It's going to be.
But you know what I see, Jay? You know what I see in this, Jay? This is something that has affected the community. So I see them being prosecuted to the fullest extent. Because we're talking about millions of dollars worth of damage. You heard the man from East Cleveland talking about looters are over there stealing stuff
right now
from the people who was victims of this. Okay, And when you look at this,
That's shameful.
and when you look at this, I do believe that young lady that East Cleveland got will be a star witness against them. Okay, because at some point in time, she already done told everybody they got the van, the driver of the van. I see the driver also being a star witness against the main guy that they arrested for this, because you're talking now not only a murder but attempted murder charge. You're talking about maybe 25 felony charges coming out of this one incident. And right there, we want to go to when I look over at this, because we walked around with activists, okay, and we walked around with inspectors yesterday, and I was out there with them with our press credentials, and right after this explosion happened yesterday, 5 houses burned down in East Cleveland on the south side of Superior, okay, and once again, I want to say this: the homeowner is alleging that he had a fire behind his stove and it got out of control. But when we come back into this, I want to talk about what the activists really need to be talking about, okay? Because there's some problems here. And one, there's a problem with Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District with the underground explosions that could be contribute to some gas problems, okay, of the gas lines, which need to be affected. And definitely, I know in Bracknell, they was complaining of structure damage and property damage and foundation damage from the explosions that was closer coming up over here when they came down Lakeshore. So there is a reason for the activists to be concerned. But we can't take that concern away and turn it into conspiracy theories when we have people breaking laws and putting the community in danger. This is the time where the community needs to stand up and needs to sit down with everybody who has a different idea. You may not like what I'm saying right now because I'm not agreeing with you, but we need to sit down at the table because there needs to be one thing that everybody needs to talk about in the city of East Cleveland. This is a poor black city. And there's one thing that we see now that everybody has to talk about is East Cleveland cannot protect their citizens, especially in emergency situations or catastrophes, okay? And I'm going to say this. Yesterday, everybody was saying it took East Cleveland 20 minutes to get to start fighting a fire at one house. We do know the other 2 houses or maybe 3 caught fire because the amber's coming down on them, okay? But everybody has to understand this. For one, East Cleveland do not have the equipment, and their equipment is in bad shape. They do not have the personnel, and the infrastructure in that city is completely shot. So when that fire started in that house, and they called East Cleveland Fire, and East Cleveland Fire showed up and pulled up, they didn't have a fire truck that can carry water. And if they did have a fire truck that could carry water, it probably wasn't pumping out the way it was.
And you can't blame the city for that because the city is strapped.
Well, you can't blame the city.
Not really, because you gotta have donations. You gotta have homeowners. You gotta have taxpayers. If you don't have it in the city, there's no money in the city.
Saxman. This is come.
There's no money in the city.
Wait a minute, but when it comes to public safety, this is when the public officials that you hire has to go to.
But where's
the
the money coming from?
The state of Ohio. The public officials have to start screaming at the top of their lungs. You cannot just sit back because look what happened. Look what happened. Wait a minute, Saxman. Look what happened. You got a fire truck pull up to a fire at one house. The hydrants are not working.
No, none of them.
Okay. Now we're in summer. You mean nobody from the city of East Cleveland Fire Department went out and flushed that hydrant?
They got hydrants that don't even have the
okay, but listen what I'm saying. I don't care whether it has a thing or not. The city fire department is required by state law to go out and flush those hydrants and to know which hydrants is not working, which hydrants are working, just for this problem. Okay, so when that fire department responded to that fire, guess what? They could not handle the emergency, so now they have to put out a call for mutual assistance.
Cleveland came.
But it's not that Cleveland came. It's that Cleveland, now we have a fire that is burning a structure that is threatening 4 other structures or and other people's lives. East Cleveland don't seem, they can't do anything about it.
Okay, but Sean, wasn't that a border
It doesn't make
situation
wait a
anyway?
minute, it doesn't
What
make
Cleveland's
it, wait a minute,
supposed
it-
to come?
no, it doesn't make a difference, Sax man, because guess what? The city of Cleveland Heights and the city of Cleveland is not responsible for the citizens of East Cleveland.
I understand that.
Okay? What if Cleveland would have been on a fire of his own?
Mm-hmm.
What if Cleveland Heights would have been fighting a fire of his own?
East Cleveland was really looking for help from Cleveland.
It doesn't make a difference. They have
because they know they need the help.
Wait a minute, but they have to call for mutual aid. This is the problem that I have right here, and this is what I want to say about the activists before we go to break, and we're gonna come back into this. The activists need to be holding city officials accountable for this one reason. The state of Ohio has a rainy day fund just for this reason. Okay, this is we're talking about firefighting equipment. Okay, we're talking about lives now. We're not talking about paying somebody's bill. We're not talking about police officers, because if that means that you cannot have police officers, okay, you need firemen, you need ambulance.
Yep.
The
And
sheriff.
actually, I don't think that the activists or the citizens is there. They should be getting the finger pointed at them for not holding them responsible. I think the state should be holding these governing officials
But
of
the
the
state
city
can't.
responsible for neglect. That's neglect that
But
seems
the
like it
state-
should be punishable by law.
Wait, but the
because-
state can't. And I understand what you're saying, but the state can't, and
I
the,
do.
count,
I
and
truly
the
agree
county
with you.
can't, because
Yeah.
under your state charter, which everybody doesn't understand this, the county cannot come in and take over a municipality. Okay,
Well, I'm talking. Well, what about auditors, state auditors? Like aren't there auditors or something?
they
that-
cannot tell the city how to spend their money. The city has to go into receivership,
Yeah.
and then once it goes into receivership. But we got to go pay
go
some
ahead, dude.
bills, and then we'll come right
We
back.
definitely
up.
gotta talk
and,
about that.
and we're gonna be
Yeah.
we're gonna be finishing this conversation.
we gotta talk
Everybody,
about
just
that.
hold on for a minute and let's go pay some bills.
What we're looking at here, we're going to give you sort of our basic theory. Obviously, we're not trying to make conjecture on the state fire marshal as far as their investigation goes. But from the information that we're learning is four people came over on Sunday in a van to the house behind me here. Apparently, they were trying to do some stripping to the house. There were several loads that were going back and forth apparently to the scrapyard, and at some point enough natural gas accumulated inside the house. We have one decedent who is still not identified. I just actually talked to the medical examiner's office about a half hour ago. They are still working in attempts on DNA to identify that party. The one person, as we know, is still listed as critical in the Metro Hospital. We do have who we believe to be the driver in custody. And we have one male that we know that was on scene. There was a total of 3 parties that is missing. We actually came back throughout the night yesterday as well as this morning to do hard target searches beyond this location, and just to make sure that he wasn't injured and fled somewhere. We are still unable to locate him. I've sent you guys some emails of the photograph of the gentleman. That's going to be Mr. Christopher Glenn. He's a 50-year-old male. His last address was 10532 Morrison Avenue. So we're asking if anybody has seen Mr. Glenn, if he is safe, to please contact someone, East Cleveland Police Department. Let us know what's going on with Mr. Glenn. Hopefully he is okay. There's still some information that we're still seeking, so we're asking anybody with information to contact the Crime Stoppers, 216-252-7463. The State Fire Marshal, again, is offering a $5,000 reward. Crime Stoppers is offering a $2,500 reward.
I'm Walter Melton Sr., founder of Voice for My People, S.O.S Save Our Sons. We got some young brothers that want to say something to y'all.
Man, look, my family, they went through a traumatized situation. The house blew up. The inside looked like we got hit by Hurricane Katrina. Man, I want to thank some of the city officials, man, for coming out to help us, making sure we was cool, man. With the Red Cross, man, that shit a fraud, bro. I definitely don't respect nothing they doing for us. They ain't doing nothing at all. They was supposed to be motherfucking putting us in proper housing. They got my family sleeping on cots and shit that's breaking. We eating dry-ass sandwiches and shit. Motherfuckers telling us we gonna get proper care. We had to wait till to pull up for somebody to even take care of my cousin hand. We looking at shit, talking about, man, we asking them, do they got medical care? Nothing. They ain't got nothing out there. We just looking assed out, talking about shit. We ain't even doing shit. Man, cause they definitely shitted on us like fuck.
Man, I got blew straight through my window, man. No help, no nothing. They took a whole hour for them to even bring an ambulance truck around me, man. I'm losing blood, man. I can show you videos. I can show you the world, man. It's crazy, bro. Ain't nobody should go through none of this, man. To sit out here, and we still outside. We still outside.
I like to thank the city council, because they did a lot for us. Like I said, they came out here, they standing out here with us. They
big support, like big support.
T-shirts,
everything. Save our sons.
But let me ask y'all a question though. Y'all say thanks to y'all council people, y'all councilwoman Barbara Thomas, man, she was looking out for y'all.
Man, hell no, man. Bro, she did a 5-minute interview, bro, and skated on us. Bro. We was still trying to figure out how we was going to even get the stuff out of our house.
Tell you like this, they say the councilwoman was supposed to be there after it happened. Later on that night, when we was at that Salvation Army, we didn't see no councilwoman. And she was there. We didn't see her till today. And when we seen her, is when we seen 19 National.
Did she offer y'all any support?
Man, hell no.
I ain't see her with
they put cameras every time, niggas. They need them every time. Just so they can show some good shit.
But my thing is, though, we lost everything. We don't have nothing.
Homeless, man. Don't no clothes, no nothing, man. There's a lot of y'all out there that got TV systems, a nice roof over your head, a nice high meal, man. Man, fuck that, man. You even got cold water to drink out the faucet.
And man, we don't beg for shit, man. We hard-working citizens like that.
Katrina big, but people still need help, man.
Right.
People still need help. See, that's from the car. That's man, I still got debris all up in my hair, man. I can't even wash it.
Like, people, I was knowing that people donate to Red Cross every day. Cost thousands of dollars. All the rich people donate to Red Cross to help them out. Help people out to get into natural disasters like this. They don't have nothing no more. But the simple fact is, if you come and tell us, well, you don't have to worry about anything. We're going to put you in hotels and you have resources to get you food, water, and everything and make sure you're going to be okay. We're going to get social workers and stuff. But then when you come here and the social workers come and tell you, oh, we can't do none of that. We can't put you in a hotel. I'm sorry, I don't know what made you think we could put you in a hotel, but we can't put you in a hotel.
But they put other people in the hotel.
We put other people in the hotel. I know so many stories came along. People, houses burned down. Our house is condemned to be unfit to live in.
My man lost his leg and everything in the fire, man.
It is a period of civil war. Again, rebel emissary Plek Dexeter and his crew travel the farthest reaches of the galaxy to explore astounding new worlds and meet weird bug creatures and stuff. This is Mission to Zix.
Mission to Zix, an improvised science fiction podcast. That's Zix, CYXX. New episodes every Wednesday. Trump and Singapore. I'm Tim McGuire with an AP News Minute. President Trump, following a summit with North Korea's Kim Jong-un, says the Singapore meeting is a first step and that the U.S. will have to verify steps the North makes or may take to end its nuclear weapons program. Patricia Kim, a nuclear expert on the Council of Foreign Relations, says to her there's not a lot there.
There was no timeline. There was no, agreement or understanding of a verification mechanism or inspections. There's no substance there other than that they agree that the Korean Peninsula will be denuclearized.
If he doesn't follow through on these things, what are you prepared to do in response, and will you lose faith in this process?
Honestly, he's going to do these things. I may be wrong. I may stand before you in 6 months and say, hey, I was wrong. I don't know that I'll ever admit that, but I'll find some kind of...
Victory celebrations on both coasts. Fans in Oakland taking part in the Golden State Warriors' second straight NBA championships parade, and in Washington, the Capitals and their fans, several tens of thousands of fans, and more than 40 years of frustration as they celebrate winning the NHL Stanley Cup. I'm Tim McGuire.
From Audioboom comes Covert, a new podcast that delves into the murky world of spies, soldiers, and top-secret military operations. I'm Jamie Rennell, and together we'll discover the real stories of history's greatest classified missions, told by the operatives, soldiers, and journalists who experienced it firsthand. Follow Covert on Spotify, or subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you find your favorite shows.
want to know how to stop the madness? Listen to STMK Radio 100 and keep it 100.
This is Cassie Hawthorne from sunny California, and I listen to STMK Radio 100. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 on Facebook Live.
Wait. Hold on, brother. If you really want to know what's going on, listen to STMK Radio 100. They keep it real, and they stopping the madness. You're listening to STMK Radio 100. Stop the madness.
Hey, Thirst, can I try out a few Coke Summer sound effects on you? Yes. Cool. Yes. Cool. You okay with this? Yes. And this? Yes. And what about this? Yes. Ha! Gotcha there, Thirst. That wasn't sound effects. That was a Coke. I'm no longer thirsty. You're so out of here. Coca-Cola. Open happiness.
You've been tuned in to Stop the Madness, keeping it 100 on STMK Radio 100. And now back to your host one more time, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stump.
Holding a summit or negotiations with a dictator like Kim Jong-un was like holy water to the devil for conservatives and Republicans. Take a look back now, courtesy of the folks over at Now This.
Would you, as president, meet with the leaders of a country like North Korea? Obama extraordinarily said, I'd meet with him.
Senator Obama made his intentions crystal clear on the campaign trail.
I will meet, not just with our friends, but with our enemies.
President Obama likes talking to dictators.
He would meet with some of these madmen without any preconditions.
You know, I'm going to reach out to these crazy people around the world and try to get things done. Yeah. I think that's a mistake.
Obama is bowing and scraping before dictators.
How about this? The fact that all he wants is to get them back to the table as a precondition. Not, if you give up your nuclear weapons, then we'll talk.
Why would the administration think that this is a group they could do business with?
I have no idea.
Those who hate us will always hate us, and a hatred for America is never going to go away.
Yeah, it goes on and on and on. But, okay, so fast forward 10 years, we have a President Trump in the White House and a President Obama. And, hey, it's a triumph of foreign policy and diplomacy.
A remarkable turnaround in relations between two historic adversaries. The commander-in-chief's leadership is now leading to a major foreign policy breakthrough.
Another stunning Donald Trump breakthrough.
President Trump scoring a big win.
It's time to celebrate a great victory when it happens.
President Trump proves the experts wrong again and scores a stunning diplomatic triumph.
It is a definite win for the president.
And it's a huge win for this country.
It's breathtaking, it's audacious, it's bold. It will be historic. I'm juiced about it.
It'll be magnificent for the people of Korea.
Be magnificent for the world.
Pointing out the Fox here at Fox News and the inconsistency, that's fun.
I mean, Donald Trump tweeted on April 15th that essentially he achieved denuclearization, right? And we haven't seen that yet. So that's the big open question. The hypocrisy is beyond the pale.
Hey, welcome back. Right here, we was talking about the explosions in the city of Cleveland and East Cleveland, and we're going to go back into that. Tony Stone asked a question. Tony, I just want to say that coming back, the state can only take over and put a receivership in there once the governor declares the city of East Cleveland bankrupt, okay? Just like they did Flint, Michigan.
They haven't been bankrupt for years.
No, they're not bankrupt. They're in receivership. They're in financial difficulty, but they haven't went as far. But see, this is the problem that I have.
Then I don't understand why the fire station is not set up to serve people.
Well, see, this is the problem where I go back to elected officials here, Jay, and this is what I'm saying here. Maybe you cannot have a police department, okay, but the county has a sheriff's department, okay, and by law, the sheriffs have to provide coverage to cities that doesn't have a police department. So maybe East Cleveland need to get out the police business.
Maybe.
Okay, because I'm going to say this: when you get a fire truck that pulls up to, when you have firemen that are not out checking hydrants, I'm talking about just bare minimum safety standards. Flushing hydrants. You have to flush the hydrant because you have to make sure the pressure's up. Right. Okay. So now when you get a fire truck that is there and you have no hydrants, you got to find the next hydrant. Right. The question is right here, where was the next hydrant at? Did they have one? Right. Did they have to go in the city of Cleveland? Okay. Now, do your truck, the pumpers, can it pump the water? Okay. You may fire the hydrant, and you may lay the line to go up, as the fire marshal says, and lay the line up to the trucks, but can your truck pump that water up to the fire? Right. Okay? All those questions East Cleveland has to answer for. And as I was telling Saxman, you cannot keep relying on the city of Cleveland and the city of Euclid and Cleveland Heights to come into your city to protect your citizens.
Right. What if they have fires?
Right. And it's also I want to say this to the activists, that another thing that you should be yelling about and hold people to the thing, instead of doing recalls and conspiracy theories, right, have somebody like Cassandra McDonald write up some legislation, go out and get signatures and put it on the ballot and make it become law. And this is where the city of Cleveland, because we was hit hard by the housing crisis, okay? There should be a law on the book that city officials are required, the water department, the electric company, because they have people out there walking every day, check all vacant houses, write down their address, and go in there and to make sure that all utilities are cut off, okay? Gas, electrical, everything, okay? It should be a law written that the owner of the property shall contact utility companies if that apartment is vacant, if that property is vacant. I'm not talking about apartment, but I'm talking about a house.
Right. I kind of thought that was already a law, like absentee.
I thought it was
something like
that. No, there's no law. There's no law to say that if I walk away from this house, that I got to call the utility companies and them to turn off the services.
Yeah, well, that should definitely be a law.
Right, it should be a law.
Exactly.
And as activists, this is what you need to get off Facebook and stop the conspiracy theory and start writing legislation. And I want to say this to everybody: police officers, unions, and FOPs, they wasn't on Facebook complaining about Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. They went downstate and wrote legislation to make it a felony if you assault a first responder or if you assault a retired first responder. So as being a retired police officer, if you jump on me, that's a felony. Okay, this is what we have to do as a community.
And legislators went and did it. They didn't cry the blues and walk up and down the street and chant with signs like black folk do. They went down there and made stuff done.
Right, and this is what we get, and this is what we got to do. We got to make the law. So if you're an absentee owner, and Tone, you own this apartment or you own this house and it's vacant, if you don't go to the utility companies and have these utilities cut off, and somebody go in there and blow it up just like they just did, you could be criminally charged for manslaughter. I'm talking about come hard, not light, come hard, because you're putting people's lives in danger, okay? Now, the second thing what we need to do, we should make it mandatory for the city, okay, to go out and do this. Even if the owner doesn't do it, the city should be mandated when they send the utility people out to read the meters for the electrical people and all that.
Right.
Water, they don't do it no more because they may still be doing it if you don't have the meter, but they should be mandated. And if I don't pay the bill within 2 months, okay, I may be behind, but if I don't pay with the bill within 2 months, the gas company should be mandated by law to knock on that door to see if somebody living there.
Exactly.
Okay, that should be mandated. There's no reason that house in East Cleveland should have still had the heat on, unless the owner said, okay, I'm going to leave the heat on so the pipes don't bust and all that.
Right.
But then it's his responsibility to secure that house to make sure that nobody goes in and out.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what we should be doing with our writing laws.
Well, some of those houses are secure. I mean, people gonna break in.
Well,
they're gonna break in
wait a
there,
minute.
man.
I'm not saying wait a minute, but I'm not saying that we're not going to stop it from happening. But what I'm saying is this investor brought this house from North Dakota, okay, sight unseen. There's a problem there. It's the same thing that happened in the housing crisis. So at this point in time, we have had 2 houses blow up under similar circumstances. Now, I understand what everybody want to say, well, it was Northeast Ohio and the sewer gas. But guess what? These were unoccupied buildings with people who illegally in there doing something.
Sean, we know who all saying about the East
But you know what? I don't want to call. But see, Sax, man, this is different between me and you. I don't want to call out one activist.
I'm not going to call them out, Sean.
Because if you call them out, you see what they doing right now with East Cleveland, and I don't want them marching around the station. Okay, and I don't have a problem if they want to come on the show and go one-on-one. Okay,
it's cool if they march around Sack's place, though.
They can march around my place all day long.
But Tony Stone, you know what I'm saying?
I'm barely there.
You know what I'm saying, Tony Stone? I say this: I invite all activists, and I have put the call out to come on the show one-on-one, sit down, and we can have our debate. Eric Brewer is scared of me.
He's not coming.
Okay, and the reason I'm gonna say that he's scared of me. I hope he's listening, but I know that he's an opponent. Okay, and I know he do his homework, but the only difference is he cannot stand nobody to challenge him. Okay? Now, he has his Facebook page fired up and everybody going after Northeast Ohio, and he's calling fire inspectors down in Southern Ohio, and everybody's sending me this stuff. I applaud him, okay? Because with him putting this out there, maybe it'll get somebody to do something.
Yeah, it's creating a narrative that we can talk about. It can get out to the right people.
Right.
And maybe they can get something.
Or he might be trying to throw people off the trail because this neglect goes back generations and administration.
But you know what this is, Tone? I'm going to say this. If, like the city...
So he might be partially responsible
but
for
if
this
the
neglect.
But if the city and them doing what they did with us, when they invited us to go with them and they started checking houses for methane gas, we haven't found any methane gas or anything in the houses, and these houses wasn't boarded up. But what I go back to Jay's question, Jay, what I'm saying is we cannot stop criminal activity. Criminals are going to be criminals. But what I'm saying is if we take the steps to ensure the safety of our community, okay, because you got 7 houses got to get tore down, okay, and you got a community that's been devastated, and we just was told that looters
traumatized
are there looting whatever's left. This is what happened to cause the problem.
So East Cleveland can't afford to replace all of those windows that got blown out. Who's got to pay for that? I mean,
the homeowners.
If they don't have insurance, if they don't have insurance, they got to pay for it themselves.
Right. This is where the problem come in at. Okay, and this comes back to the liability factor here. The actual homeowner in North Dakota is responsible for all this damage.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because her insurance, because they failed to properly secure the house.
That's gonna be a hell of a bill.
Okay.
Oh,
Now you got all these other people, the 7 properties that are damaged. They got to be uninhabitable. They got to be ripped down. Their insurance companies is going to have to deal with that. Now the question is, for their insurance company, do they have replacement costs? Because if they don't have replacement costs, their insurance company is going to pay off the mortgage company, and they're out. Okay. If you have replacement costs, then that means the insurance company has to build you a new house. Okay. That's the first thing. Everybody need to go look at their insurance thing. But if you look at most of the houses in 125th, 123rd, Tuscarora, Lynn Drive, in that area, those are third-generation homes.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them people don't have insurance. Okay, so what's going to happen is that they're going to have to come out of the pocket. Then you're talking about the people that got to get bored, the house is boarded up. Okay, because there's not one window left. Okay, it's like a tsunami bomb went off through there. There's no windows left.
And that was some of the structure damage to the other houses that was down the street. They said, well, only thing happened is my windows blew out. You know, I got a little singe to the house.
But they haven't even looked for structure damage yet, because if you look at this, Sax, man, we're looking at the cosmetics. Okay, when the insurance people and everybody's really settled down and start coming in there looking at these houses, they may be blown off of their foundation.
Exactly.
Their foundation may be compromised.
It could be cracked. It could be moved, shifted.
So we don't know what the cost of this is going to be.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so we do know one thing: the citizens of East Cleveland or the city of East Cleveland cannot handle the bill.
This is a really
really big Look at the mayor. The mayor's out of town. The explosion happened Sunday. Today's Thursday. We put a call in for the mayor. We haven't got anything back. The chief of police, we put a call in for him. We do know right now they got 3 people pending investigation. In 36 hours, they're going to have to charge them or let them go. Okay? But I do see charges coming. And this is the thing that the activists have to get together. And I'm going to go back to the activists again, because we was talking about what city officials should do. Start holding your city officials accountable. You heard them young men talk about how nobody was there and had things in place for them when this incident happened.
Like the Red Cross? He was talking about the Red Cross?
Well, I'm not even talking about Red Cross. He's talking about basic first responders, getting an ambulance, and then police there and everybody come tuck. I know it's a hectic situation, but guess what? That's all hands on deck.
Right.
That's when you go into the 911, which every city was supposed to get to, 911 protocol disaster. That means every ambulance in the city of Cleveland, Cleveland Heights, Euclid, Maple Heights, everybody coming down, all hands on deck. That means to tell me that East Cleveland Mutual Aid is not in place. Okay? Cleveland Heights, I don't even think came down, but they might. I don't think so. For the fire they did, but I don't think for the explosion. Cleveland you had police officers from Cleveland all the way from the west side. Our deputy chief came out and offered them all the help and assistance they need. Okay? So when Cleveland comes and do everything, that lets you know that East Cleveland at this point cannot protect their citizens. And I got a serious problem with that. Okay? So maybe somebody need to make a decision. The police department did a hell of a job, but the problem is this. They did a job after the fact.
Right.
Okay? The cleanup. We shouldn't have to be doing cleanup. We should not have to be doing cleanup. We should be preventing this. Okay? These scrappers are running around here hands-free, going into properties, and when the lady next door whose house got destroyed gave an interview, and I was standing there and told Channel 5 that she's seen these guys coming in and out for days. That's unacceptable, people. Okay? You got to call the police.
Why don't people tell?
Well, I can understand why people don't want to be...
Same reason... No, I ain't about to go
there. Right.
No, I want to hear.
The same reason you were saying cops don't tell.
What, because they're afraid to get killed?
Yeah.
Well,
when she told Channel 5 that she seen them come and go for days, did she say that she suspected that they was up to no
But she
good?
already knew. But see, this is the problem right here. And Saxman, I'm going to say this. And I'm glad you brought that up, Saxman, because this goes in depth to the police department attitudes in the community. if the people felt that they could go to the police and the police would protect their identity and everything, because the police cannot protect them. Okay?
Exactly.
That's the problem here. It's the same thing as it was in Old Hood. My neighbors and everybody don't want to get involved in a situation because guess what? Wait a minute, Sax, man.
What about anonymity?
Wait a minute. But this is the problem. Police officers and police departments try to make the case with me instead of trying to make the case on their own. Or they tell Tone and them, somehow the gang members find out that old man Johnson called.
Exactly.
Now old man Johnson is a victim and his house is being tore up and the police can't stop it. So I understand why the community is sitting back and scared on their hands.
Okay, let me say this. You block your phone number and you call anonymous.
Man, you can block your number. I block my number, call the police. They still know.
But this is
how? If it's blocked, they don't know.
But Sax, man,
you block the number and you call anonymous.
Right.
They don't know who you are. They don't have your phone number.
You can't do that.
You give the information and you step back.
Wait a minute. You can't do that, and that's what I would tell everybody to do.
That's what you can do.
Wait a minute. Or call. I would tell everybody right here. Dial 911. Tell them you don't want to get involved. You got to call. I'm not.
That's right.
I'm not the expert of it. You got to call. And I understand the people, Sax, man, I understand the people is scared because when I went on calls before I retired, a lot of people tell me the same thing. I'm not getting involved. Like homicides. People call up and give police officers information on homicide.
Yeah.
Instead of the officer taking the information on the homicide and making his case.
They want to know what's your name.
Right. And
what's your
get involved.
number?
And a lot of people call.
You don't have to give it.
Wait a minute. You don't, but see, Sax, man, a lot of people do. And then when it comes down time, they want you to go to court. A lot of people called into the show about that, about some of the homicides. Okay, so I understand what the community think.
I understand too.
And the second thing is, I'm going to say this, and this is going to make every police officer mad. Okay, if the community respected you and had faith in you, they would have no problem with working with you. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. If the community respected you and had faith in you, they had no problem working with you. And what you're going to have to do is this, okay? You're going to have to go out into the community. You're going to have to earn that respect. You're going to have to earn their trust.
To say on the flip side of that, because you don't want to, because of that small matter, you victimize your neighbor.
Well, everybody's victimized. The community's
victimize your
victimized. See, this is the problem right here, Saxon man. Everybody's a victim, period. The police are victims because they're going into communities and they're fighting and trying to do a job that is overburdened for them. The people in the community are victims because they're living like prisoners and can't go outside of the crime and everything.
Why? Because of the millennials.
Well, it's all of them. It doesn't make a difference who. See, this is where we got to get in our community. We got to get away with labeling people and putting people on sides.
I got to label Tone.
Because
Tone is the millennial
right,
group.
but because when you look at this, this is why the criminals are being allowed to come through the neighborhood. Do you understand one thing, Saxon, that don't nobody else understand, and the police officers don't understand?
Well,
the police officer has a gun, and they're talking about coming into the community fighting crimes with the gang members and the drug boys and all them. But guess what? The same people in the community are victims and are scared of the same drug dealers and gang members and being victimized that the police are scared of, okay? But the only difference is you're coming into the community with a gun. They don't have one. So everybody has.
You said you had a gun, didn't you?
I've outgrown guns.
Right.
Real men don't carry guns unless you live a life where you got to shoot every day.
But also, Sax, man, I want to say this too because I want to keep this on a serious
That's
note.
a good speech.
Wait, I want to keep this on a serious note for a minute
go
because
ahead.
we're talking about something serious
Okay,
and everybody's going to zero on this.
Okay.
The community and the police are going to have to sit down and come back to where it was. As you heard Walter Melton Sr. talk about S.O.S, Save Our Sons, raise them before the kids do. Here go the shirt right here, okay? The millennials can't deal with you and they don't trust you. And they don't trust you or don't deal with you because you know why? Because they feel you put them down and they feel that you have not stood up and did what you were supposed to do. And then the elderly people fears the millennial because just like you said, they don't think they could talk to them, and they think they're the problem that we having right now. So we got to bridge that so that communication can come back with them. And that's the problem about voting. Out of a city of 17,000 people, only 4,000 people vote. That's why the city of East Cleveland's in the condition it's in. The second reason East Cleveland's in the condition it's in is because of the activists. Okay? They don't want to sit down and talk to people who do not think like they do, who do not believe him like they do. And you know one of them very well, and you know where he comes from. But you look at this, okay? There are people.
Explain to me how the activists.
Because the
are
activists.
calling these problems in East
Okay,
Cleveland.
I'm gonna tell you how. Because the activists.
You talking about one particular? Two particular.
I'm gonna talk about all of them. Okay, the activists are splitting the community and making the community choose sides. Okay, on issues.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it seems to me half the community don't even care.
Wait a minute.
They care.
Jay, I understand exactly
How
what
do they care when
wait,
only 4,000 voted out of 17,000? That's showing that.
But Jay, I agree with you. Wait a minute, Sex Man.
Answer it. Okay.
Wait a minute. I agree with you. The community doesn't care, and this is the problem. But the problem is this: when you pick sides, okay. And I'm gonna say this: when the call came out, because people didn't feel that they was getting the service after the explosions happened. Soon as we made calls and we came in and everybody started hearing that STMK Radio 100 was coming in and these white churches was coming in, people immediately started picking sides. They went after the Red Cross, okay, and said that the Red Cross wasn't doing anything for them.
That's going off of
Then they started another group called the Black Cross, telling everybody to get to the Black Cross. Then now you got activists coming in saying it's the city's fault that this explosion taking place. It's not the criminals' fault.
That's toxic
talk, man. Now this is where the things come in. People who was going to come into East Cleveland with us, and CIS people did not want to come into East Cleveland because they did not want their company drugged through the mud. They did not want to get between the activists and their petty calling this person out or this person out.
Talking.
They did not want to be labeled, okay, that they going with the administration who is inept and doing this. They do not want to be responsible if they give this organization this money and the money goes out and go to somebody else and doesn't get to the people. They don't want that black eye. So a lot of organizations, and I'm talking about a lot of organizations, backed up. So what they did was they went to a church and told the church, we're going to give you this. You go into East Cleveland and do this for us. Okay? The problem with that, Jay, the problem with that is if that's happening with people who want to donate and help people in need, what's going to happen when I want to go in there and invest my money to bring this community back up?
Because if you don't know who to go to donate with, because you got all these sides of saying, I'm the one, or no, I'm the one, they are bad, they bad.
Or if you're going to invest money in East Cleveland. This is why nobody's invested money in East Cleveland, okay? Because 14 recalls, and it still got the same problem.
Yeah.
All these properties over here being left to rot, and nobody wants to take them down. Nobody wants your help, okay? I want to do it myself. You're trying to run, because you white, you're trying to run the black people out to steal their land, okay? Do you see now where
all that false propaganda?
Would you like to walk into a headache every time you come in the shop because the guy that's cutting hair saying you stealing their customers and you ain't no good?
No.
That's the problem that we have, and this is the problem. And I know firsthand because as Walter Melton Sr. told you, you can go to the Facebook page. We had a lot of people call us. A lot of people, Tone. We're boots on the ground. And when I say we boots on the ground, I can tell you who paid money out of their pocket to put people in hotels. And it wasn't the Red Cross. It wasn't the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army let them sleep there at night, but due to the city being so poor and they having other programs, they had to put them out during the day so kids and other people could come in and get the services they need, okay? They wasn't even talking about putting people up in hotels and all this other stuff, okay? People came out of their pocket. Cassandra McDonald showed up. Kim Snyder showed up. Todd Roberts showed up. I can name some people that really showed up, and the person that put it out there was Walter Melton Sr., okay? He the one that stepped away. We put something up on our Facebook page, and it went out to Columbus and down around, and everybody started calling. We had people
coming on our thread on our Facebook page telling people not to donate. I had to personally call them out.
Who are they saying not to donate to?
The Salvation Army. And the people are at the Salvation Army sleeping. Okay? I don't care if you have a website. Okay? Everybody's not going to come into the city of East Cleveland. Everybody's not going to drive down into the city of East Cleveland. You heard Walter Melton say that we're trying to get to a bank and set up
a GoFundMe.
A GoFundMe, but we want a legitimately person, okay? The station was going to step up, but right now we got to check with it with our lawyers and everything because we don't want to step up and start getting $100,000 and start giving money out to people, and then people start coming back talking about this or that. So everything has to be down.
We didn't get it.
What I tell everybody is this. Go to the bank, have the bank get a fund up, and then have the people, once you get the money, have the bank split the money equally to the people who can show that they was affected by this. And we're talking about a lot of people. But I'm more worried about the families in those 7 houses that lost everything. If all your windows broke out, then I'm not too worried about you. If you still got a house, I'm not too worried about you. If you still got all your property, I'm not worried. I'm worried about the people that lost everything and only have the clothes on their back. As the one guy said, he can't even drink water. Where he's going to go? That's got to be a hell of a thing. Okay, and when we get into our situation of donating and getting involved, and we got activists or people who claim to be activists and supposed to be on our page, okay, so they know what we're doing with the community and come and tell people don't donate to the Salvation Army. Do you know how that look when you got people in Cincinnati, Indiana, Michigan, Savannah, Georgia, Florida, see people come out and say don't give it to the Salvation Army because they're not giving it to us. Okay? Everything you can't get.
These are people that like to whine.
Okay, so when the Salvation Army get these donations, if they don't give it to the people that are affected, they're giving it back to the community. Okay, you cannot cut off donations. Red Cross, yes, they have a lot to do, but you have to understand that Red Cross is throughout the community. Okay, and we talked to the Red Cross, and one of the big problems were the Salvation. You got 2 organizations stepping up. One organization is Boots on the Ground, which is the Salvation Army. They stepped up and took the people in for meals, keeping them there and everything else. That gave the Red Cross maybe that you couldn't go into a hotel right then, okay? And the Red Cross maybe said, okay, well, the Salvation Army has taken care of this problem right here. Let's retool and set up this thing and find out actually what's going on and get our caseworkers in there and them there to help them. Okay, you got people there at the Salvation Army cussing out the help. And I'm not talking about people that need help. I'm talking about people that's supposed to be there to help the people that need help. Okay, and this is where I have a problem with this at. Cassandra McDonald stepped up. I mean, there's so many people that stepped up when the call came out, and I don't want to put their names out there over the air, but I did put a post thanking Todd and Kim Snyder because they came. Those are outsiders outside the black community, okay? And they came at the drop of the dime. When the call came out and we got the call and we put it on the air and we started making phone calls and organizations started talking to us, asking us what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it. Could they bring everything to us? Did they want money in us? We had to tell them, no, take it to the Salvation Army, boots on the ground, Walter Melton, and Salvation Army's there because that's where it's at. Okay? The people that's spending money, putting people into hotels and stuff, we're trying to get your money back to get you reimbursed if you're a private citizen. Okay? But when you do good and give the people that can't help you, good come back. Okay? And that's what we have to do. And we're going to be boots on the ground with them. We're going to get Walter Melton here into the studio. And the activists and the city officials are going to have to change what's going on. And I'm serious about the city of East Cleveland not being able to protect their residents.
Well, not with 4 or 5 police officers.
Well, I'm not even caring about the police department because at this point in time, Saxon Man, the police department did a hell of a job. They wouldn't took dangerous people off of the streets. And they're not getting thanked for it. And that's what I tell you about things before. You took an oath, okay? And it's an oath just like going into the Army. Okay, and when you took that oath, and Tone took that oath, you didn't take that oath saying if Sean come and kiss my butt or lick my shoes. You didn't say if Sean did this or if the community did this or if the mayor did this. Your oath said that you will uphold, serve, and protect. So that don't mean anything about how anybody feels. It don't mean anything about what anybody do. It means you do your job, hold your oath, protect the community, uphold the law. And right now, if that means that those East Cleveland police officers went out there and did their job, it's thankless because you know they're up there protesting against them, like everything. If those officers listen to the choir, guess what? It makes no sense to come to work tomorrow. Okay? You don't get thanks. Look in the mirror, thank the Lord for giving you your breath. That's your thanks.
Right.
If you got to look for somebody to pat you on the back, put your badge and gun down and walk away.
Right.
Okay? The community is there. You get what you get. Okay? The churches in this area, all the churches, everybody sitting in the pew right now should be getting their churches and having their churches come into the city of East Cleveland and do two things. And I'm going to say this about our churches because J. Mack's sitting here. Right now, we need to be buying up the land and reinvesting in the black community and reinvesting our dollars in the black business.
The churches can afford it. They got it.
They need to be doing this.
They got it.
We need to change our education system.
Half these churches, especially in East Cleveland, are getting shut down on raggedy. So how can we?
Well, I'm not talking about East Cleveland, Jake.
Okay.
He said other
East Cleveland
churches coming into
right. East Cleveland right now. Let me say this right now, and I hate to say this. East Cleveland is a third world with people who cannot help themselves, let alone help anything else. They're being victimized by their government. They're being victimized by their police department. They're being victimized by the people in the community.
Right.
They're being victimized by people coming into the community.
Right.
So they're done. That's like being on a boat trapped in the ocean. They can't help themselves. So that means people from outside that is not in this environment, that's not in a stadium playing football with them, who can look and see what's going on, need to come in and take over that city. And as Tone thing is, the county can't do it, the state need to do it. And I agree with you, Tone.
Yeah, I agree too.
The governor needs to declare right now, at this point, a state of emergency, take over East Cleveland, put receivers in there and trustees in there, and take that city and do the proper thing.
The state really clear. I mean, that's a black community.
It doesn't make a difference.
Yes, it really shouldn't matter.
At this point in time.
No, I'm saying, but it shouldn't matter 10, 15 years ago.
Right, but at this time, Jay.
But you still, I mean, look at it. Look at the state of it now.
No one's talking about it.
But Jay, look at this.
It.
Look at this right now, Jay. And I agree with what you say. I don't care right now if it's black community. Whoever want to go on the black road did not do what he was supposed to do and stand up. So at this time, he got to be ass out. Get out. Boo. Go. Off the bus. Okay? When the state come in, I don't care if they bring in all white people and 100,000 bulldozers.
No, Sabat. No, I'm not going on the black and white. I'm just saying this community, this didn't happen yesterday.
That's correct.
This has been like this.
So you have to start today.
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm saying. East Cleveland's done. It's like it's like a glass jar. If I take this glass and drop the jar.
Now I know it is. East Cleveland is done.
What you looking at?
Okay, so if East Cleveland's done, okay.
No, seriously, Angela Mears might be the most prospering business in East Cleveland.
Right.
You said what?
Wait a minute.
Angela Mears.
Angela Mears
right.
pizza.
Yeah.
But you have to look at this.
This would be the most prospering business.
And the only place that should be left with
no, the bars are making money. The bars are making money.
Man, I remember. No. Angela Mears been there since the 60s.
But I understand. But I'm telling you,
because I used to go there.
East Cleveland biggest employers,
always in that place.
Businesses are bars.
Ain't no more bars in East Cleveland like that.
The Tucker Casino, and
Tucker's and
let me say this.
It's if you maybe a couple of
and there's two on Superior going
Noble.
up.
But let me say this, Jay. This is a problem too because some people went to the businesses in East Cleveland to get food or to get help for these people, and they refuse. So this is what I'm talking about right here.
Refuse what? What are you talking about?
Refuse to give services and food or donations to the people who was
that was displaced.
So this is what I'm talking about right here. You can no longer account for anybody in East Cleveland, Cleveland, or any of the surrounding suburbs. Those elected officials or those other officials have not stepped in to help these people in need, and they have let it go to a point where either the city going to burn down.
It's unrecoverable.
Okay, so that means the state's going to have to step in like they did Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And take over.
Yeah.
Okay, and when they take over, you may have to abolish the police department, but everybody want the police department abolished anyway. Okay, the fire department you may have to abolish, but this is the problem. If you're going to have a fire department, you got to get brand new trucks and get equipment there that work. If you're going to have a police department, okay, you're going to have to. You can work with 4 guys, you can work with 1 guy, but one thing you have to do and understand is that with fire is the most important service. I remember when James Campbell laid off all the Cleveland police officers. Nobody cared. But the minute she laid off firefighters, our insurance skyrocketed because the insurance is based on how many fire trucks can get to that location in a time. And our insurance has never went down in the city of Cleveland. The insurance company never came back and said, okay, we're going to lower your insurance. So I can imagine what it costs for insurance in East Cleveland. And that's why I'm saying the people in East Cleveland probably don't have insurance.
Probably don't.
Okay, so this is another problem. If these people don't have insurance and they're also poor and struggling, living below poverty level, is the state going to step in and pay because they can't live without windows?
Their police cars wasn't insured.
Well,
none of them was.
I can understand the city not being insured or self-insured and stuff, Saxman.
Wow.
But I'm talking about the citizens in this area. Who's going to pay for all those windows? Who's going to pay for the structure damage? Okay. Who's going to pay for the people's injuries? They don't have insurance. Okay. This is why the city and the councilmen and them need to be sitting up asking for grants. Actually, the mayor of East Cleveland need to come back into the city, and he needs to call the governor up, and he needs to explain to the governor what's going on and have the state of Ohio come in for a state of emergency and help these people.
You think your ex-mayor Brewer, with his knowledge and education and experience, should step up in there and help them bring back East Cleveland the way it used to be? Don't laugh. I'm saying because the man is knowledgeable. He know how to bring a city together. Though.
Wait a minute, Saxman. You said one thing, so I'm going to say this, okay? And I want to bring this in.
Right.
A lot of people, and I just found this out yesterday when we was asking people to donate and come into the city. A lot of people, especially politicians, do not want to deal with Eric Brewer. He's toxic. Okay, he's toxic. You mention his name, and people run away. Okay. So when you start getting people to come in and start talking about improvements, if you've been on the ship already and you haven't done it, then you need to be removed from the ship.
Gotcha.
And I'm saying this. We don't need anybody that's going to bring controversy. We don't need anybody that's going to look for a press release. We don't need anybody that's going to go to Facebook and argue.
Right.
You need fresh minds. You need people that's going to come in with fresh ideas. That if Tony Stone come in and Tone say we can build up Euclid Avenue and we can do this, the people would want to come in and help Tony Stone to build up. They don't want to come in and say Eric Brewer is controversy. Okay, who want to come in? As I said earlier, a lot of people want to come in and help East Cleveland, but they don't want to come in and get into that controversy.
Right.
Nobody wants that mess.
Right.
It's just like when we start talking, we advertise heated conversations, but everybody don't want to hear everybody over screaming everybody in a heated conversation. They want to have a understanding of what's going on.
Right.
They want to understand what we're talking about. And when you get that point, the point is right now we need qualified people with clean thinking to come in with the people of East Cleveland, sit down, listen to what they have to say, and start rebuilding the city. Because sooner or later, let me tell you this.
Come on, Tone, there you go.
And if you take, well, you don't have to be a resident.
I was about to say you don't have to.
You don't have to anybody because if you look,
I was just talking.
If you look at Cleveland Clinic, okay, and I'm gonna say that if you look at Cleveland Clinic when Fannie Lewis and Lonnie Burton and them stopped Cleveland Clinic from taking over the Huff area and all that stuff, you see what Cleveland Clinic did. Cleveland Clinic sat back, let everybody die off and let the area go down.
Sure did.
And then they stepped in and took
Stepped in and took over.
Look what's happening to East Cleveland.
They didn't really do it like that.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
They muscled my man out of there.
Well, Winston he was going
they,
anyway.
But that was all. That was a conspiracy against him.
But he told you that.
They got him up out of there.
But he told you what they was doing. See, this is the problem, Tony Stone, and this is what I'm saying. When a person tell you what's going on, like right now, we're telling the people in Savannah, Atlanta, L.A., or down the coastline what's happening in one rich city, which was one of the best cities in the state of Ohio, East Cleveland, Rockefeller's estate. Okay, Rockefeller left because he got into an argument with the city of Cleveland, and he donated that to East Cleveland. It was called East Cleveland Township. Look at it right now. The city's burning down. The buildings are falling down. People are leaving anyway. There's no street lights at night. Okay, you only got maybe 4.
But 105 in that area wasn't like that when Cleveland. I mean, I heard what you said, how they let it go like that. But at the time when Winston Willis and that section was popular, that was a lively part of town. That was a booming part of town.
It was, but guess what? Money talks, and everything was going toward that. They wanted that out of there because of the riots, and then everybody was leaving the neighborhoods. Okay, so they wanted that life out. That's why they muscled Winston out. And they didn't have to really muscle him out because guess what? The city was going to come and take the land anyway for development, okay? Fannie Lewis and Lonnie Burton put a kibosh on that. That's why those new houses are down Chester, because they told them, you're going to build up the Huff community, and you're going to build houses while you build your hospital, okay? And guess what? They couldn't go on the other side of Cedar. They couldn't go on the other side of Chester. But guess what?
They had to stop.
When Fannie Lewis died and Lonnie Burton died, and there's nobody else standing there telling them, you're not going to do this, they just took the property, okay? That's what's happening in East Cleveland. The property is there's no place for people to live. Look at Page.
Terrible.
Yeah. Look right there on 125th right now. 125th. 7 houses gone. Look on the other side. 5 houses gone.
Page, Wymore, Northfield.
Now you look at over there on the south side. If you look on the south side of 125th,
hundreds of apartment buildings over there.
right? If you look on the south side of 125th, those probably was the only 5 houses somebody was living in. They're gone. Look, coming back up from Lakeview, where you had your casino.
Okay.
All that's gone.
Do you think this is all by design?
Yes, it is by design. But the problem is, Sax, man, is that we, and when I say we, I'm talking about the community, I'm talking about the people of East Cleveland. We are not taking control of our own destiny.
No, we're not.
Okay? And we're allowing it to happen.
And we're blaming others.
And we are blaming it because you know why? We have the mentality to blame others. And my problem is all these pro stars that came out of East Cleveland and Cleveland.
Oh my God. Movie stars, singers, actors.
Why haven't they came back
Nobody
and brought
back.
up the hood? They just did a show, the guy showing his house on I think Decker or something.
Yeah.
All that money. Come back and buy the hood.
Look at John Hinton. John Hinton went to school with me.
He ain't making no money.
But still, when he was.
But Saxon, you look at this. If we invest,
I don't even know who that is.
Right. But if we invest in ourselves, this is what I'm talking about.
Living single, Obi.
Right, but I'm saying this: if we invest in ourselves, black dollars, and this is something we're going to do a show on black dollars. We have so much money with black dollars. We don't invest in our own businesses.
Nope.
Remember the Dr. Johnson said, to make a community valuable, you need hospital, school, bank.
Yep.
Okay. We don't have none of that in our communities. Okay. Our banks are not investing back in the community. Remember in the old days, the bank invested back in the community.
Exactly.
Okay. That's not happening. We got to stop that. If the church don't do it, okay, and they taking money out of the community, every day they getting a collection plate. Look at all those churches down 105th.
All on both sides.
Now they're starving.
Got to be about 100.
Okay, but they're starving. I know some of them is just barely making it and barely keeping it on, but some of them is making big money.
Sure is.
Okay, the Word Church is building a whole new, joining somebody in Akron, building up a new church or joining a white church or something.
How about the big one? How about that big one on 105 near was that Pasadena right there on the corner?
Right.
That big church. We got that big choir.
Right. Well, you working down there. You working at some of the churches.
I worked down there. I'm
But-
telling you,
but-
hey.
But I'm saying this. They have, if they're taking money from the community, they have to return the money into the community. And I'm going to say this before we get ready to get out of
Man,
here.
some nice Cadillac trucks.
I want everybody to understand. I want you to go, everybody, donate something to the people of the city of East Cleveland. I don't care if it's just $1, if it's just water. At Sam Club, you can get 24 bottles of water for $1.99.
Woo!
Get some water, take it to the Salvation Army, and donate something to those people in need. Because at this point in time, if we don't help our own, nobody else is going to help us.
Right.
And we can't keep going outside the community begging people to come into a black community and help black people that's not willing to help themselves.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying about the black community. I wasn't saying, okay, we don't want no white people in it. We need, I mean, the black they're not going to come into a black community if they don't want to help themselves.
Right. And I agree with that. We have posted up, we got, and I'm going to say this about Sax Man right here to Sax Man, and then people in the community can understand this. You may not like the police, and you may have problems with the police, and I understand why. But guess what? Police departments across the country is getting stuff together for East Cleveland, and will be delivering stuff in East Cleveland in the coming days and weeks. So your first responders are turning the other cheek. Even though you don't like them, they're going to come in and be bigoted. Everybody else, as Jay say, if the black community is not going to look out for themselves, you got to come in and you got to start taking care of our own. Okay, we got to put the gloves down. We're going to have Walter Melton Sr. into the studios. We're trying to get Damon Parker, one of the other activists, Cassandra McDonald. We're going to have all the activists sitting here, and we're going to have a round table, okay, because we got to have this talk.
Eric Brewer.
I would love to have Eric Brewer into the studio, but I would like to have Eric Brewer in the studio by himself, Saxman. You know why?
Wow.
Because at that point in time, the gloves are going to have to come off, and we're going to have to really do a uno, man-on-man type stuff
Y'all
right
gonna
there.
have to squash y'all
okay? There's not a beef. The problem is he thinks that you soft and he can take you. He don't want to deal with me, and the problem is this: I'm not just one that he can say anything to, and is going to take it as a thing. When he quote a law, I'm going to tell him what that law is.
Right.
When I tell him something about a law and he goes back into it, he's not going to switch around on us. Okay.
I hear you.
Okay, because if he's going to come and talk about random license plate check, that's what we're going to talk about.
Right.
Because we ain't got to go no further than his case of Boston Heights versus Eric Jonathan Brewer if you want to talk about police enforcement.
Oh, my God.
And see, that's where I lock him in at.
Right. He don't want to talk about that. That's an embarrassing point.
But I don't want. If we're going to have activists in here with politicians and everybody else, we can't have a person in here that's going to be controversial.
I understand.
Okay, he got to be able to want to sit down and talk, put his point across.
But what activists? I mean, an activist worth his salt is not going to have some controversy on him.
I agree with that, but the difference is he's going to listen to what I have to say or you have to say instead of making it controversy while we're talking. You can have controversy, okay? You can hate the police. You can be a cross-dresser. I really don't care about your personal thing.
Okay.
You're a barber, okay? I don't care if you cut gay people's hair.
Right.
That ain't got nothing to do with me. But when we talking about police brutality and we talking about poor politicians, you can sit down and give your opinion. I can sit down and give my opinion. Okay? And then we can talk about it. And then our audience can understand both sides. That way, Tony Stone or Sax can say, yeah, Sean, was just like when me and you did our debate about Michael Jordan. Okay?
Right. And I was right, too.
We're going to put information out there.
I was right.
But I do.
I was right. Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
Michael Jordan ain't no GOAT.
Yeah,
I'm going to go back.
See, no, I said he was GOAT, and everybody on social media said the same thing.
Well, social media don't know a damn thing.
Oh, my God.
But we're going to hold that thought right there because, as I said again, we want all our prayers to go out to the people of the city of East Cleveland. We want you to donate. We're going to talk more about this next week, but Tone the Stone.
Fan base is big, I can't lose. Jigga bow down, I'm the next to rule, but I'ma stay on the cool, remain on the under, cause like Andre 3000, your boy's ice cold. Ain't no limit to the gimmicks and ways to make money. No limit to the just to act funny when you get that cake, cause you spit that way. They may love you tomorrow when they hate you today, but yo, that's the way the story goes, so I was told. Following the ramble down the yellow brick road, please believe at the end ain't no pie to go. There's some platinum beats from the Cleveland streets.
Hey, we want to thank you, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram. You can catch us on demand at SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and our YouTube channel, and on USTREAM. You know, it's been a trying week for everybody in East Cleveland. We hope that the Lord continue to put blessings down on everybody. We're going to be going on vacation next week. We're going to have a young lady in the studio talking with us about a book and some other issues on female stuff, and we're going to really give her the work. But Tone the Stone, the Diamond Boy, what you got to say?
Yeah, everybody, make sure you tune in next week to hear that conversation with this young lady talking about the strength of black women, the lessons they learn from their daddy, and the strength that they have to project in life pretty much. God bless those people in East Cleveland, and matter of fact, the whole city, the whole community of East Cleveland. God bless them. You know, keep your prayers and give all the assistance you can for those people. And my people out there, this pertains to everybody, but anybody who will consider yourself my people. Some people seem to think that you can't take care of yourselves or you're not willing to take care of yourselves. So I need you to show everybody, the world is what I mean by everybody, that you can take care of yourself. Start taking care of yourself. Take care of your body. Eat good. Get in shape. Start educating yourself. You know, show the world that you don't need. You're not sitting around waiting for handouts, waiting for nobody to take care of you. Show the world that you don't need nobody to take care of you. But like anybody else, when you do need help, we know when hard times arrive and you do need help, you know, you expect to be treated like everybody else in society with humanity. But let these people know that you're not sitting around waiting for no handout, that you depending on other people to help you, because that's what certain people seem to think.
J Mac from the shop. What's up, J Mac?
I'm just want to give my prayers out to East Cleveland. I will be praying. I've been praying. I will continue to pray. And I'm going to try to do some donations, some stuff to the
Sax Man in Studio 51, and he was out on the beat, everybody. Sax Man, tell us something good. What's happening?
Cut my bike off again.
There you go, Sax Man.
My prayers also goes out to the city of East Cleveland and the residents, the ones that's been displaced. And on that note, I like to say, while we're on vacation, Sax Man will be in Las Vegas performing in the Caesar Room. I'll be acting a fool there, of course, so everybody come out and see me.
Hey, that's Sax Man. Hey, right now, I want everybody to understand one thing. When we talk about serious issues in East Cleveland, that we want to thank Walter Melton Sr. For the things he's doing with boots on the ground and out there as our lead man. STMK Radio 100 will be out there continuing to help the people. Kim Snyder and Ty Robert, we'd like to thank you for coming into the city, helping us. Cassandra McDonald and all the other unnamed people that showed up and gave money and helped from the people. We like to send our blessings and stuff out to you. We can make this work as a city. And so as your host, Chanel, until next time, peace, love, and happiness.
You've been listening to Stop the Madness.